A man walks through a dense forest thousands of years ago, carrying nothing but a sharpened stick and a small basket. He isn't searching for food. He's searching for something far more valuable. Hidden beneath the leaves grows a strange fungus unlike anything else in nature. Most people walk right past it, but someone, somewhere, discovered that eating it could completely transform reality. Imagine being the first person to make that discovery. No books warned you, no one explained what would happen. You simply took a bite and waited. Then the world began to change. The trees seemed alive, colors became brighter, time slowed down, sounds echoed through the forest in impossible ways. For a few extraordinary hours, reality itself no longer followed the rules you thought you understood. That single moment may have sparked one of humanity's oldest spiritual traditions. Most people assume psychedelic mushrooms are a modern curiosity. They're anything but. Long before cities, writing, or even agriculture, humans wandered landscapes where naturally occurring psychedelic fungi grew wild. These mushrooms appeared after rain, often in grasslands where animals grazed. They required no farming, no cultivation, and no technology to find. All it took was curiosity, or perhaps hunger. Our ancestors constantly experimented with unfamiliar plants, berries, roots, and fungi. It was dangerous. One mistake could be fatal. Yet, every now and then, an experiment revealed something extraordinary. Not food, not poison, something that altered the mind itself. Imagine returning to your group after experiencing vivid visions no one else could see. How would you describe it? How would they believe you? Perhaps they wouldn't, or perhaps they'd want to try it themselves. That's how remarkable discoveries spread long before language became sophisticated enough to explain them. The fascinating part is that these mushrooms don't simply create random hallucinations. The active compound, psilocybin, closely resembles serotonin, one of the brain's most important chemical messengers. Once inside the body, it temporarily changes how different regions of the brain communicate. Instead of following their usual pathways, entirely new connections emerge. Areas that rarely interact suddenly begin exchanging information. The result can feel like seeing the world through completely new eyes. But proving ancient people intentionally used psychedelic mushrooms is surprisingly difficult. Mushrooms decay within days. They leave almost no trace behind. Unlike stone tools or pottery, they disappear long before archaeologists ever arrive. That means much of the evidence simply no longer exists. Still, clues have survived. Ancient rock art from parts of North Africa and Europe appears to depict mushroom-shaped figures dating back thousands of years. Some researchers believe these images represent ritual mushroom use, although the interpretation remains debated. What isn't debated is that many indigenous cultures around the world have used psychedelic mushrooms ceremonially for centuries. Among the Mazatec people of southern Mexico, sacred mushroom ceremonies guided healing, spiritual insight, and community traditions long before Europeans arrived. When Spanish explorers encountered these practices during the 16th century, many were shocked. Some described the ceremonies with fear. Others dismissed them as superstition. Yet, despite centuries of persecution, the traditions survived. Knowledge passed quietly from one generation to the next. History has a remarkable way of preserving what matters most. Modern science eventually caught up. In 1958, researchers successfully isolated psilocybin, allowing scientists to study its effects under controlled conditions. What they discovered surprised many people. Participants frequently described their experiences as among the most meaningful moments of their lives. Some reported lasting increases in openness, creativity, and emotional well-being. Others described encounters with overwhelming feelings of connection to nature, to other people, or to the universe itself. Scientists continue investigating why these experiences can feel so profound. One possibility lies deep within human evolution. Our brains evolved to recognize patterns, solve problems, and imagine possibilities. Psychedelics appear to temporarily loosen those mental habits, allowing entirely different ways of thinking to emerge. Sometimes those new perspectives disappear as quickly as they arrive. Sometimes they change a person's life forever. Humans aren't unique in seeking altered states of consciousness either. Jaguars have been observed chewing psychoactive vines. Reindeer consume hallucinogenic mushrooms. Even dolphins appear to play with naturally occurring toxins that briefly alter their behavior. Across the animal kingdom, curiosity about changing perception appears surprisingly common. Perhaps the desire to explore consciousness is older than humanity itself. The biggest transformation wasn't discovering psychedelic mushrooms, it was learning how to understand them. For centuries, these fungi were treated primarily as sacred tools. Then they became forbidden. Later, they became scientific mysteries. Today, they are being studied once again, not as magical cures, but as potential treatments, i.e., for conditions like depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The story keeps evolving. So who was the first person to eat a psychedelic mushroom? We'll almost certainly never know. The evidence vanished thousands of years ago. Their name has been lost to history, but one thing seems remarkably likely. The moment someone realized that a tiny mushroom growing quietly beneath the forest floor could completely reshape the human mind, our understanding of consciousness changed forever. The next time you walk through a forest after rain, look carefully at the ground beneath your feet. Among the leaves may be organisms that have fascinated humanity for thousands of years. Tiny, fragile, easy to overlook, yet capable of reminding us that some of history's greatest discoveries began with nothing more than a single curious step into the unknown.